Hey, welcome to another edition of In the Moment. This is your host, Michael, and today we have a wonderful, amazing, incredible, dear friend. Her name is Nandy. She is amazing. She is a director, a writer, a producer, an actress. She does it all, and we're going to get into her story. So welcome, Nandy. Thank you for being here, and hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. Beautiful intro.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so pleased, and I love what I love about you is, if anyone who knows Nandy or has seen her, in every photo, she always has this beaming light, this smile, this energy, and it transcends. So I love your background, which is very much like you, like universal and like kind of flowing spirit and just above. Yeah, I love all that.
Yeah, I'm floating around in the galaxy right now.
I love it. Where are you? You're in Los Angeles right now, right?
I'm in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, there's so many things I want to ask you because, we have been friends for quite some time. We met many moons ago. And what I've always valued about...
Moons ago.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't even thinking about that. One of the things that I value is, again, it's that laugh, that that you guys have. But there's so much, that I want to ask you because, listen, obviously when we met, it was at a Prince show at the Forum in Los Angeles. We all know that's how we met. I'm a big Prince fan, etc. But what I love about what you and I have is an honest friendship, a true friendship. And we've always been involved in other things and being supportive. And I love your journey, and I love seeing the growth and the progress that you have made. And, I'm definitely going to be sharing links to Nandy's work and her portfolio and her resume, all of that. And that's one of the things I want to get into is because you kind of started off in one direction, and now you have blossomed into this whole nother career. And I'd love to hear about that and kind of where you are, and kind of tell us what you've been doing.
I'd probably want to give a bit of a backstory. So obviously I was a backup singer and dancer for Prince for 10 years with my twin sister. And there came a point where me and my sister wanted to do separate things. So I went to a director friend's place of mine. Her name's Randy St. Nicholas. She used to photograph Prince. And I kind of sat down next to her pool and I wrote a list down of everything that excited me and at the highest level. And what I connected to was really being inspired about creating worlds. Creating worlds.
Yeah, exactly. You do.
And that was stepping behind the camera. And I went on a little journey to New Orleans, and I took my camera and just got into the history there, and took a lot of photos. And it was a really magical kind of independent emancipation time for Nandy. Right. Separate, from the twinship. And then what I discovered is a passion for directing. So that's how I'd had the courage to, do a full pivot from music and dance, and then, take this deep dive into really, diving into what it would look like to be a filmmaker.
Right.
So I started, actually Prince gave me an opportunity to photograph him. That's how it started. And it was funny because my resume on photography was just one photo shoot with this beautiful guy, light-skinned, afro. So I showed him those photos, and he was wearing this singer was wearing a T-shirt of Jimi Hendrix too. So they're the photos that Prince ended up seeing. It's a reference for him to hire me as a photographer.
Nice.
It was just perfect. And I was like, I've never done studio lighting. I've only just done daylight stuff because I'm still learning. And he goes, we've got the lights. We'll figure it out. So it was just really me and Prince at Paisley Park collaborating.
Right.
These promotional shoots for his album and what he was doing at the time before he passed away. Right. And then in the film aspect, I ended up getting an opportunity to direct a music video. I executive produced one of Prince's videos as well. So that was, he hired me to do that, which was amazing. Just being behind the scenes and putting everything together. that was a really, really important learning curve for me.
Right.
And, you know, he was instrumental in that. And then I ended up branching out and getting more work, directing more independent music artists, and most of them were women.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, but I guess this is my path to empower, you know, women and minorities to you know, make them look beautiful and amplify their authentic voice with these visuals.
Right.
And then from that, one of the management companies I was working with had a he was managing India RE, and he's like, "Hey, you did an awesome job with my, you know, my independent smaller artist, and I want you to submit a treatment for India RE's next music video." And
Right.
for me, that was like a dream come true. Like when I was living back in Australia, I loved her music. It's very authentic, very empowering, and genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved her voice and just the vibration of who she was. So that was a dream come true for me.
Right.
And the funny thing was, a little bit of a backstory around that. Her management company and India RE's team gave me a director's note. So it's like a little, you know, paragraph of what they see through this music video, and then I go and, you know, amplify that and put my and interpret that. And the management company sent me this email, and I had to get through some communication before I got to the director's note. He just forwarded it to me. It was hilarious. And to get to this little paragraph was a meme of Prince doing this. Communicating and throwing in humor in the conversation. I was like, Prince, are you orchestrating something here?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that was like a synchronistic sign that I was meant to be in the right place. And then, and then they chose my treatment, and, you know, and then, you know, we executed a video called Steady Love.
Yeah.
And that took me on to doing a couple more videos, and, yeah, the video won, you know, got nominated for an NAACP award, and, yeah, so lots of accolades there, which was, you know, a good thumbs up for Nandy.
Well, and I love that. And I mean, and again, that on a segue, like that's a really nice, beautiful video too, because it's very romantic. It's just very, it's very mature. You know, it's a nice, mature video, I would say, in the sense of, you know, the work that you've done. And also it's a really nice video. It's, you know, again, she's an incredible artist in the music, but it's just very nice. And it is this romantic, love story. And you did a very great job with it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
I love that. And that's the other thing too, sort of like I was watching the video for Over You, which is this video you did, and I forgot the artist. Not Michelle Cash. Is that the same artist? That's another one you did.
Yeah, a different artist. Yeah.
Okay. So this one, Over You, because I really like the video. It's on the beach, and it looked like, did you use some Super 8 film, or was it kind of like you manipulated the video camera to look like old school film when she's on the beach?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we had that, like, you know, old school camera footage, like she was getting filmed on the beach.
Okay.
So yeah, we added, you know, a lot of those elements to have it look like her partner was filming her, kind of like in the, you know, the 80s or the 90s, you know, footage. Yeah, it's really
I love that. Well, okay, so one of the things you talk about is, okay, yes, Prince gave you an opportunity, I guess, to executive produce one of the music videos and do some photography. But even at that point, were you like, okay, this is kind of cool because I'm working with him now, but then to take it to the next step, like, okay, well, I'm going to do something that's not involved with Prince. So, I mean, did you feel in your gut, okay, this is a passion? Because, you know, listen, to be a director, you know, you have to really be the leader. You're kind of like the captain of the ship, so to speak, of a project, and you're going to helm it. And it's your creativity in putting that together. So did you feel, wow, this is really what I want to do, and now I'm going to just tackle that? Because it seemed like you kind of knew that maybe even before his passing, of just what you want to segue into in that world. So, you know, kind of give us a little backstory about that, how you felt that drive.
Well, how many years was it? I felt like it was maybe at least a year and a half before he passed away. Like when I started working with him behind the camera, because I had already made the decision. And we had a conversation when I was doing the photo shoots, and he's like, because we told him that we didn't want to dance anymore. We just verbalized it. And I said, we'll always dance for you, but we're not like, you know, that we're not pursuing that in a anymore.
Right.
So he had a conversation with me, and he goes, "It really threw me when you guys said that you didn't want to dance anymore." And I said, "It did," because I felt like this man, like, you can't even penetrate him, like he's just,
Right.
in flow, easy going. And I said we did, and he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Oh, because if I ever wanted dances again, you wouldn't be available." And I said, "We'll always be ready for you, Prince. Don't worry about it. But this is what I'm, my focus now."
Right.
But even being a music artist myself, when me and my sister had our band, we were, you're just a creator. So, you have to dress yourself. You got to do your own hair and makeup. We created a lot of the visions. I mean, we had directors and stuff, executing, with having the outside eye, but, we essentially made, you're the boss, so you got to make all those executive decisions yourself.
Right.
And then even as a teenager, I used to dress up my nieces and nephews and take photos of them. I didn't have video then, obviously, but I was creating worlds then and wanted to make people look beautiful. So I naturally already had like a natural calling for that, as a teenager.
Love that. That's great. So what goals have you set for yourself now that you have been doing writing and directing? And I know, listen, you've done some short films, you've done some music videos. What is your goal? Like, what is the next step for Nandy? What is it you see yourself doing, and how are you achieving that?
Well, currently I'm really immersing myself in developing my skills as a screenwriter.
Okay.
And that's not only to, have the skills and to execute my voice storytelling wise, but also to understand and strengthen my skills in the area of the narrative space, because a lot of my experience was naturally, music videos and more of the commercial and promotional, like short form content, and I want to get into long form, which and narrative spaces. So, with the screenwriting, that's really helping me like dive into the core of what a script is, how to analyze these characters, what's the voice, what's the message of the piece. So yeah, I'm heavily diving into that, so I can, my dream is to direct, just be a hired gun for TV,
right?
And that'd be like 11 days on set,
right.
And send off to post production, and then move on to the next one. So that's more of like a hired gun thing, and getting hired to do that, and then underneath that would be producing, writing, directing my own feature films and TV as well.
Nice.
So that's where I'm growing into now.
Do you find, I mean, with that, because I work with a lot of writer directors, etc. Do you feel like there's a particular genre or something that you feel like, hey, I really have to get this story out? Are you more fantasy based? Like, what are you feeling right now as a writer?
I mean, I've always been pretty clear on what excites me. I've always loved like the period piece stuff, because it's not essentially in regular life. It's like in the past, and my favorite classes in school was history. Nice. So really being able to like option true stories from history. Nice. And telling unique stories through that way. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Right. And when I went to New Orleans too, like I'm sitting there soaking up all that history as well. So I've got like some creative ideas in the background ready to go. I
love that.
So that's kind of like a little bit of one of my passions, and then I really love sci-fi as well. Hence the background.
Yes.
And I felt like I was kind of thinking like, why do I love sci-fi so much? And I really feel like it's a medium that that isn't niched into any type of demographic. Black people, white people, mixed, Asian, whatever. Like, because in the future you can create your own future of whatever else you think life looks like. So I'd really love to explore that world as well, which is the sci-fi genre.
No, I love that. It's funny. I just started a show last night called Silo on Apple TV. Anyway, and I was watching it, and what I liked about it too, it's very eclectic with the cast. And again, it is the future. It can be anything. And I think what I love about sci-fi, like you said, you can break the rules and the norms. It's like, okay, you can, green, blue, whatever. It's about the story. It's about the content.
And I saw that in The Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it had Bruce Willis in it, but, all the supporting characters are all like looking like me, freckles, just little side characters. And I loved that. And and now we're seeing more of ourselves in film in the minority space. But back then, it was a little bit more rare.
I love that. I want to get into, one of the things too about you and me and your sister, we're all very positive. We speak in a different talk about being positive and being authentic. And that's a word I learned from you. Like really, I got it from you first about being authentic and living in your truth. And this is the whole reason why I have the podcast In the Moment, because I just feel like it's in the moment. People always ask me, well, I'm like, I don't know. I feel it. I feel it and I vibe it. But that's something I did learn from you, was that word authentic, in being being true. And then your sister really helped me with that too, because she's the one that helped guide me on a couple of things. And I love that. So on a more positive note, what are the things that you do to motivate yourself? And because listen, we all know in Hollywood or the business that we're in, it's a grind, and you're dealing with egos and expectations and this and that. How do you keep yourself grounded? And what are the things that you find you're doing to keep yourself motivated and positive in this forward, projection?
I mean, I've been through a lot of ups and downs. When I first got started, it was just like, no thinking, just doing.
Mm-hmm. And
I loved that. You're just straight out there. You kind of don't have any expectations. I didn't go to film school, so I'm not sitting there trying to compete with anyone or, trying to, don't have any foundation for anything except for my history within music. And, there's still something there, but it's not anything traditional.
Mm-hmm.
So straight out the gate, I'm just in action doing things, and then opportunities are coming. And then in a personal space, I went through a lot of things which I won't dive fully into, but we all go through certain hard times, and that really stopped my creative flow.
Right.
And so I've had to come out of, now everything happens for a reason. I've had to come out of, like, what do you call it? They call it the dark night of the soul type thing. And when you're in it, you can't see it because you're just in the suffering of it all. But when you get out on the other side, you can see the silver lining, and what was meant to be for your growth. So I'm on the other side of that. And things that I put into place since then is getting up at 5 a.m. I've been listening to the 5 a.m. club. So if anyone wants to, gets inspired by this and wants to try that on, feel it out for yourself. I ended up committing to listening to the audio book because I'm driving back and forth from, the office that I work for out of. And I committed to listen to 11 hours of this audio in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So the next Monday, I'll be getting up at 5 a.m. And I didn't want to start it too soon or too late. I wanted to just really immerse myself in this. Because I'm from a music background. I do not want to get up at 5 a.m.
Oh, I know.
I never have, and unless I'm on set, unless I'm getting paid to get up and go to
I know.
But just generally, like, why would I ever want to do that? But I really wanted to kick myself in the behind and take my productivity level to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why I started listening to it. And since I've been doing that practice, like you can see the smile in my face, it's amazing. And so just bullet points. I'm not going to give too much away, but it's pretty much a victory hour in the morning that you dedicate to yourself.
Nice.
So it's getting up in the morning. You spend 20 minutes hardcore working out, and you have to sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And the next 20 minutes is meditation, journaling, gratitude, visualization, whichever one you want to pick. And then the third 20 minutes is education. So you can pick anything that you want to educate yourself in, and you can move things around and be more flexible. But that's kind of what they call the victory hour.
I love that.
And then get started into your day. And there's benefits to getting up early, because it's kind of trains you to get your productivity, your discipline, your consistency to the next level, and it helps with really reprogramming your neuron pathways in your brain. So they do speak a lot about that and the science behind it all, and it's all, you know, all scientific based. And the working out at 5 a.m. as well, that's all connected.
Well, it's funny because your sister gave me the book. And because we talked about it the other day,
she gave it to you.
we talked about it the other day, and I said, well, you know, Maya, I said, the problem is I don't go to bed till 2 or 3, and I get up at 8, so I don't know if I get up at 5. But I love, and I said, I'm listening to it. So I did start it. And there's a key that I love, and because I'm just like in the first 20 minutes of listening to it, and he goes, most people die at 30 and they get buried at 80. You know, it's such a key point of like so many people just like check out or zone out. And so I love little tidbits. And again, I just started it.
So good.
And I do love, like what you're saying is about the power hour and these things. And again, I know how I am as a person. I'm a night owl. I get more of my creativity. 10 o'clock, that's when I get all my creativity. But I'm still going to finish it. And I love it. And your sister told me she's been doing it for about a month now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's made a difference. And, you know, I do think that's important. Like I tell friends, the first thing when I wake up, I don't go to the phone. You know, I go walk my dog, and that's my time to kind of wake up, charge my brain, whatever, before I turn on the phone and get into the noise. Yeah. And I generally work out in the morning. So I try to get that done first, and then I can start the day. Otherwise, you know, we're so used to doing this and you get locked in, but you need to have that time. And I love the fact that you're taking not only what you said is about the exercise, but then the same thing, like you're talking about the learning. When I go on the walk with the dog, I might put on some meditation music or like a 10-minute positive, you know, energy thing. And that's where I'm learning and growing at the same time. So I think all that's beautiful. And that's what I love about you. You know, you're definitely in that flow. And it's funny because I don't know where you were, but there's some photographs of you on Instagram, which are all amazing. Because you traveled and you're in this doorway and you have this dress on, and it says something like, you know, you close one door and the other one opens, something like that. But it was so beautiful because it's like this door, you're just standing there. And I think we're always at that point in our lives, like, okay, do we cross through it? What did we learn? You know, we have to learn. It's okay to close a door because there's so much more for us in that next adventure. And I love that about you, you know? So where were you? Because did you go to Bali? A lot of these photographs.
That was a couple of years ago.
No, it was very beautiful. It was very therapeutic. And
Bali, like I would call it my soul amplified.
Okay.
And specifically Ubud. That's where I went.
Okay.
I went to a couple of little places too, but it's like jungle from the 1500s.
Oh my gosh.
There's all temples all mixed up in the jungle. There's waterfalls. There's a monkey forest. Monkeys have always been my favorite, like since a kid. So I had some adventures with a monkey stealing a pendant around my neck and taking off into the freaking jungle.
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm never going to see that again. Like, you know, they tell you to take all your glasses off so the monkeys don't come and steal your things. But I had like a little thin chain with a pendant on it, and it just felt small because I had these beads on, and I just didn't take that one off. Oh. And I'm sitting there doing a selfie with a monkey who was sitting up on this little walk, like a little railing. So he's at my level. And during the selfie, all he's doing is looking at my shiny object and grabbing it with his little hands and pulling it in the photos.
Oh my God.
Yanks it, and the chain breaks because it was thin. And then I had the chain that stayed around my neck, and then he just took off and ran off into the banyan trees.
Oh my God.
I ended up getting it back. We found guys because I followed him off the path.
Yeah.
And then I walk out there and I'm just looking around, and I'm surrounded by like literally 100 monkeys, all sizes. And I'm in their territory now, and they're all just looking around like, I'm just like, I don't really know how to handle this. I don't know if they're going to be aggressive. So I kind of got a bit scared. And then I backed off, and then my girlfriend and I walked up to one of the people that were that work in there, and we said, she's a comedian, man. She's not a comedian, but she's really funny. She goes, hi, one of the monkeys stole my girlfriend's pendant. Can we get it back? That's just how funny she said it. She's always love hanging out there because of her sense of humor. So he goes, where did he go? And he's just straight on it. Goes up there, throws some food on the ground. We found the one monkey out of 100.
Right.
I was looking around for him, and he's still holding it in his hands.
Oh my
Threw
God.
some food on the ground. He drops the thing, grabs the food, and then I got it back.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Bali's amazing. If anyone wants to tap into their internal state, and we just jumped around to beautiful little Airbnbs and experienced different types of rice paddies, jungles, like just beautiful little areas.
I love that. I mean, that's like I said, your photographs, all of them are just so. There's just always light. There's always just this energy of positivity and just happiness and joy, and you can see it like you're learning and growing. And this is something too when we work together, because we worked together on a movie a few years ago. And you have this conviction of learning and just, taking that information. Like you said, it was about the idea of just doing. And at the time, I know maybe you were directing, but again, now to see it now, I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like you're doing it. And this is what I admire and respect about you is so many people in Hollywood talk about it, blah, blah, blah. You're actually doing it. You're putting things into motion and you're being realistic. So many people, I did a TikTok video. Where's my 3-picture deal? They're so entitled. And you're like, no. You're actually putting in the work. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're putting in the work and you're doing, and you're setting realistic goals like, oh, I can do this, and you've achieved it. Now here's the next step. And I think that's wonderful, not only for any artist, but also then for a female, then also for someone of color who is saying, hey, I can do this. Yeah. And you're showing that, and I think that's beautiful. I think it's wonderful.
One of the things that stood out to me in the 5 a.m. club was like fulfilling your promise to yourself. And there's a lot of things that I want to achieve, and like all of us, we all want to be somewhere else. We all want to get to the next level. When you get to that level, you want to get to the next level, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just creation itself. And that's what this symbolizes to me. This is the what do you call it? The seed of life.
Nice.
And it's the design of like energy and life force, like itself. So you could say it's God or the universe, whatever you want to say. But it's all about, for me, it's all about fulfilling my promise to myself, to the things that I want to, create in the world to impact humanity in the biggest way possible. So when we're not doing that, and we all have those moments where we're feeling like we're not doing that, our soul is in torment. So for me, it's all about being consistent, taking each step as it comes to get to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage, and just being in that moment is fulfilling just within itself. So your creativity expands. You get more and more connected to your purpose, and constantly sharing, what it is that you want to do, and that's convincing yourself of it before you're even there yet. And it was the same as what Prince used to do when he was a kid. Sitting in the car, with Andre looking out the window at a what do you call it, little gas station or something. They were going to get some food. Imagine, one day we're not even going to be able to go in there without getting, attacked by fans or whatever.
Right.
So, even at a young age, he was visualizing that. So no matter what age we are, it's all about envisioning who we want to be, throughout this next decade.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. What is a recent success that you've encountered that you want to share with us?
In the writing space, I ended up writing and concepting 2 commercials.
Okay, nice. Love it.
So I've got 2 commercials on air, which was like doing it this early was never the plan. It just kind of naturally happened with the situation that I was in. So that was something that was really excited to me. And one of the commercials is for Muckleshoot Casino up in Seattle. Yeah. And I noticed that there was some of my childhood mixed in there without me even knowing. Right. It's kind of like creating a picture of that it's easy to get to the casino from anywhere. Yeah. And so the cars in the commercial end up flying through the air. Yeah. Yes. Kind of like a chitty chitty bang bang thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mum used to have me watch all those movies as a kid, and so I can see this subconscious stuff just kind of seeping out from my childhood. So that's something
Yeah.
that I'm really proud of from recently.
No, I love that. I watched. It was fun. It was light. Again, like you, it's light. It's fun.
Yeah.
You have you have a very eclectic resume. Like I said, I saw the music videos, and you've done the promos for Netflix, and then the water bottle or the water company. It's funny because I actually drink that water all the time.
Proud.
And I love the bottles because I just keep refilling them because they're so good and they keep everything cold. So
There's a cold, thin aluminum. It's not plastic, so it doesn't. It's healthier for your body.
Yeah.
And then the water's, Proud source is just spring water.
No, I love it. It's great. So I know that you're doing that. Okay, what do you do for yourself for fun? What does Nandy do? Say, you know what? Done all the work for the week. And I know it's 5 a.m. club, all that, but like, what's the one thing you're doing? If you want to share, you don't have to, but it's like, oh my gosh, this makes me happy. Like, what's that one thing that just excites you, that makes you still a kid?
It's funny because when people ask me that question, I feel like I don't really, connect to the having fun part of life. I don't know, it's weird. I like watching movies.
Yeah.
That's fun for me, especially if it's a movie that's really touching.
Right.
I'm a huge movie fan, obviously, but one thing I created recently was creating a group of people that used to salsa dance.
Oh wow! Okay.
And we're all like, we used to perform it or used to do it like, when 20 years ago or 10 years ago or something. And so we ended up. So I put a group together that every month we go out, find a place that has live music. And live salsa music, and we all go out salsa dancing.
Love it.
That's kind of, because I don't dance anymore, but that's an outlet that connects me to my soul. Because I've even as a 14-year-old, it was before I started. Like I was dancing and training and performing dance, but I hadn't ever freestyled yet. And doing the regimented practice, just like. Just enjoying yourself. And salsa music was the first music that got me up to freelance.
Nice.
Kid. So because there's just something in it, just hits me right in the chest. So doing it now, just getting back out on the dance floor and just, getting spun around and just it's the music and just it gets in your soul. So that's one thing.
That's fantastic. That's great. I think we all need that thing that just excites us.
Yeah, and even, being with Prince and listening to all his live music, like stuff like it really lifts your soul and it expands you. Me anyway. So doing that and being around a live band and the live music again, we have fun. We're all laughing because our bodies aren't how they used to be and joking around, like overacting at how tired we are just from doing one song.
Oh my God, no, I love it.
It's so fun.
I love still being a kid. That's the one thing I never want to change. And it's funny, anytime my girlfriend and I, we go to Target or whatever, she's like, go ahead, go to the toy section. I'm like, okay. And it's my escape. And like, I just like to walk through it because it just
toy section.
It just reminds me of just being a kid.
Your favorite toy.
And she's like, okay, I'll go do all the 90% of all the shopping.
Yeah, she does the serious stuff. You bought any toys recently? What's in the back there? You got a couple of little.
Oh, I've got some. I got some Steph Currys. Yeah, like here's my little Steph Curry
bobbleheads and things.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of Steph Currys.
Little toys.
What's nice? My daughter just for Father's Day and my birthday, because they're kind of the same. She got me some Legos.
Yeah,
and it was great because one is a bonsai tree which I have to build, and it's really good because. So I was doing a smaller one, which is a little Paris thing, and I was building it. And you realize, first, it just reminds you of being a kid, but just how therapeutic it is.
Yeah.
And I just watched this documentary on the makers of South Park. And, these guys are stressed. And one of the main guys, I forgot, and he does Legos all the time, like he does Star Wars Legos. And he goes, it just helps him refocus, rethink, and kind of like not think about the noise.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done Legos in so long. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so, and again, because like you.
Probably therapeutic, right?
It was very therapeutic because my mind.
Puzzle together, just like.
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. Very much. Very much.
You're the second person that's asked me within the last 24 hours what I do for fun.
See? There you go.
And I'm like, and I just currently I haven't had that much fun in my life. I'm just like all in business mode.
Yeah, you are. You are very businesslike.
But it's, I've got a plan.
I
So I'm
love
kind
that.
of caught up in executing the plan.
Yeah.
Maybe, because two people are putting it in my ear,
Yeah.
maybe I'm meant to, incorporate more fun in my life and think about what that would, look like.
I
Like
think
once a month is one thing, but,
I think it's important. I mean, listen, we can all be successful and do that, but we, still need to not forget that essence and that energy.
yeah,
Uh,
which I like.
I know I don't have a lot of time with you, but so a couple things. So what advice would you give to others? So two things, because I know people say, well, what about Prince? What did he say? What's one positive attribute you learned from Prince? And also then what advice do you have for anyone out there?
I mean, one thing that confused me when I first started working with him was that there was no schedule. I said, I guess when you're at that level, you got it that way. So you can it's kind of creating the life you wanting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a conversation with him. I said, why do you plan shows so last minute? Like all the people that work for you have to just jump and run. And I said, and that must be really stressful for them. And he said, because if I plan something too far in the future, it takes me out of the moment.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm a master at that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's like a lesson that, we can all like learn to practice being in the moment. Because if you're planning too far in the future, I mean, you can have it there and put it there, but it be in the moment while you're taking those steps. It's just like a background vision.
Yeah.
Just practicing being in the moment with where you're at, and that creates. Do you know how like on your phone I can zoom into a picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're in the moment and you're working and creating and doing whatever you're doing, then you can kind of zero in and zero in and zero in and deepen whatever it is to kind of work from the inside out. That's something that I've been learning with screenwriting too. So you can apply your own life to screenwriting. But yeah, it's all about writing and working from inside out. So you're not starting with dialogue and just like knocking out a draft.
Right.
You have to start from all the cue cards, and so it's very you can apply it from apply it to yourself in life. Yeah, so it's just being in the moment, and when you do that, you can create masterful pieces of work in whatever you're creating.
That was really the whole title of this, in the moment, because I wanted to be like that. And it's the same thing when I'm on set, and I love it when you're out there. And yes, you can have the perfect schedule and the perfect plan, and all of a sudden it's raining or this prop didn't show up or whatever, and you have to improvise. And again, I'm so used to it in indie world, you just make it happen. You figure, and actually sometimes more magic happens because of that. You're like, whoa. And yeah, we can all have a plan. That's great. But I love the idea of that's an idea, but it's not a mandatory thing. Because you just have to like let it go, and it has to be natural. And again, I just come back to what you said, being authentic in the moment. And that really has helped me. And it's funny because I use a lot of dialogue you kind of taught me a long time ago about that, and just being truthful. And that's why I always tell people, just being who you are, people are going to find out the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to follow. Everyone knows I'm a big Prince loving Warriors fan, goofball Gemini. That's who I am. I don't change that.
And a comedian.
And a comedian.
For all of you guys that don't know, when Michael's on set, he studies all the crew, and then one at a time he'll impersonate crew members. So he impersonated me once, and at that time I was focusing on doing like a life coaching business, and it was called Be Free with Nandy. And he's got, we all get water bottles given on set, and I usually clip it to my hip when I'm second ADing, because that's what I was doing at the time. And he finds a wig up in the office, puts it on, stands in front of a fan with the wig on, impersonating me with his water bottle on his hip. Be free with Nandy. So even if I'm not on jobs with him, I want him to send me videos of him impersonating people. I mean, it makes more sense if you know the people, but he nails it. And I'm just like, why are you a line producer? You're expanding into, the podcast world and everything too now. But I was like, why don't you just go on Saturday Night Live or something? I need to see you on there. So,
I'm working on, I think one of the things is facing fear, and I have to face the fear and do an open mic one night. I'm not there yet, but
yeah,
we'll
yeah, you'll get there. So I love that you're in your business, but you're also, not shy to create, to express your creativity. So good.
Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say thank you. So is there anything that you want to promote? Because we're going to put all the links, the bio, the whole thing. Anything you wanted, any closing things?
I mean, nothing right now. I'm in development on a couple of projects. So, once they're out, we can, if this is out, then we can share it. But yeah, nothing right now. But my website is nandymcclean.com. So it's just my name, spelling, NANDYMCCLEAN.com. And yeah, my Instagram is at Nandy McClean, and my production company Instagram is NMFLMS. So there's so I'm not spelling it correctly, but we'll add all those links so you guys can
NM Films.
Find me, chase me if you want to work with me. I do music videos, short form content, promotional, testimonials, documentary, anything that you want.
I love it.
Have a conversation. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. So.